Hello there! It's good to be back. It's been a few weeks. Here I am again in Seville and pleased to be making clips. It's getting a bit cooler here, so hopefully you won't see me perspiring in these videos for much longer. At least I'd like to think that. I'd like to think that it isn't the stress caused by speaking to a camera asynchronously about teaching that's making me sweat. So in this clip I'd like to explain to you how to create your class within a class. First of all though, I'd like to assure you that despite the somewhat tongue-in-cheek nature of this recording in places, the suggestion I'm giving you is something that, hand on heart, I believe will help take your teaching forward little by little if you don't already do it, and if you allow it to. So, how do you create your class within a class? Well, I can explain to you the formula. Let's imagine you have 12 students. Ideally, you would have 12 desks for the students, or little tables attached to their chairs. You'd have a teacher's desk, and if you've got 12 students and one teacher, you'd have 14 chairs. Let's say you've got 30 students. Again, ideally, you'd have 30 desks or tables for those students, and you'd have a table or a desk for the teacher. And you'd have 30 students, one teacher, you'd have 32 chairs. Basically what I'm saying is, to create your class within a class, you need an extra chair. And I've actually taken the liberty of presenting the formula here for you. 12 students, one teacher, 14 chairs. 30 students, one teacher, 32 chairs. If you've got a number of students that isn't 12 or 30 and you're having problems with the numbers, send me the numbers to the email attached to this channel and I'll do the number crunching for you. So what am I saying? Get an extra chair. Yes, get an extra chair. Put it where? Put it either next to you at your teacher's table, at an adjoining side, an adjacent side to you, or on the other side of the table. And by doing so, you will have created your class within a class. I've taken the liberty again of creating a more advanced graphic here. You'll see that here. And this represents the two zones that you will now have. So we have here your class and here your class within a class. And I did so using the wonderful Dictionary of Slang by Eric Partridge. You see that fits nicely there. And you see the amazing Eric Partridge here. One of my favourite dictionaries. It's got gems such as to audit one's accounts in the kingdom of Neptune, which is naval slang apparently for vomiting over the side of a ship while you're at sea. And the smaller zone was, this isn't product placement, it's just a box of stuff that I used to create that. So you can see what we've got. We've got our class within a class. We've got our student here and our teacher here, and my slightly awkward back to front movements here. Now, it's more than just an extra chair next to you. It's more than just that. What you've done is you will have created an extra space, a zone, a dimension. It's a statement of intent. It's a state of mind, almost. It's an attitude. And so much of my good work in recent years has come from working with single students on a one-to-one basis in my classroom within a class while the others are on the main task. And I talk about that in most of my sessions. I've spoken about it in Understanding Teenagers in the ELT Classroom, which I'm not going to hold up, but which you may notice is conspicuously placed on one of the shelves behind me. And I will be talking about it in future publications, so you can be ready for that. In these clips, I think in clip number 7, I talked about your first lesson of the year and how you can use what I called creeping correcting when your students are writing in class. You can ask them to come and show you what they've done so far and just correct that. And then the next one comes and sits with you. So you can do that from your class within a class. In clip number 2, I talked about sharing out our teacher attention and trying to make sure that we speak to each student every so often, and that we can keep track on the register. Go back and watch the clip if you can't remember, if you feel like it. But again, we can do that, spend a few minutes with each student every so often from our class within a class. And in the last clip, clip number 8, I spoke about making sure that the students are actually recording answers correctly in their books, and they're actually recording them in a way that's neat enough and orderly enough to be able to work with in the future. Again, we can do that very effectively from our class within a class. We can do a lot more as well, and I'll come back to this time after time. The chair as an object is not a modern technology. However, I think it can be used in a progressive way, and this is it. And also, I don't think we should ever take the chair for granted. On a recent trip to the UK, I was accidentally booked into a budget hotel. I don't mind normally budget anything, but this particular hotel didn't have any chairs in the room. Not a stool. In fact, it didn't have a desk, a table, a shelf, a wardrobe or drawers. It didn't have a usable surface, in fact. But the thing I missed the most was the chair. I even tried to do some work sitting on the floor. Couldn't quite support myself, even with the use of the wall. So, I mean, chairs are wonderful things. The thing is about your class within a class, I can't tell you where to get that extra chair from. But if you are anybody who makes any decisions about school resources, if you're a coordinator, school owner, department head, director of studies, please think about getting that extra chair for your teachers. Because this really does, to be able to spend time with one student, even if it's just for a couple of minutes while the other's doing something, then another student, every so often, this makes a massive difference. These transitions, it helps you negotiate with students, it helps you evaluate, it helps you check, and it really will feed into almost all of your dealings with that class. And the final thing, I think, and here we probably enter into semiotics, into symbolism a little bit. If you can get the same type of chair as your own teacher's chair, that's also quite a nice touch, because then it speaks a little bit about the kind of 50-50 dialogic and even power relation that you're going to have with your students when they come up. It also feels a little bit more special. It's not quite the same as sitting there with your colleagues, but I mean that's peripheral, really, in terms of importance. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say about your class within a class for now. But like I say, if you can get hold of that second chair, if you can start to use what otherwise might be slightly dead time when the other students are doing something else, and just borrow people and check something, go over something, talk to somebody about, get them to tell you about something, then I think you'll notice in small increments how, because you're establishing, you're increasing your awareness of your learners, where they're at, how they're doing, and you're dealing with them on a one-to-one basis. That will all feed in to your classroom management, to your overall understanding of where the class is at, and so on. People, strength and energy. Good luck with your teaching.